Sai Ram. So the question, in essence, the question put up was whether one comes down from Turiya state to the waking dream states, etc. And if one does come down, whether it is the individual that can decide the return of his consciousness from Turiya, or is it the universal will? Okay, this was the question. For answering the question, we need to be clear about the Turiya state and also a state just lower than the Turiya state. Okay. A state lower than the Turiya state, we call it as cosmic consciousness, or in other terminology, Savikalpa Samadhi, or Samprajnata Samadhi. We will know a little about this state and then move on to Turiya state. Okay. Cosmic consciousness is perfect awareness of the oneness of life. The yogi feels that the universe is filled with one life, that there is no such thing as blind force or dead matter, and that all is alive, vibrating, and intelligent. He experiences a sense of universality, a consciousness of eternal life. He is one with the Supreme Lord, with the universal knowledge and life. A yogi of cosmic consciousness develops the cosmic sense and has universal understanding. He is conscious of being in the immediate presence of Lord. In cosmic consciousness, there is yet the seer and the seen. It is doubtless a very subtle experience. It is divine experience, but still, the seer-seen duality is there. It is a higher state of meditative absorption, characterized by the mind holding on to the object of meditation, like God or Brahman, with effort, but still retaining a subtle duality between the knower and the known, the meditator and the meditated, and sometimes even subtle thoughts and imaginations, leading to a temporary bliss and awareness of the Absolute before returning to normal consciousness. In this state, the meditator comes down to waking, dream, deep sleep states and experiences the creation. Okay. Having understood this, now let us move on to the Turiya state, or the super consciousness state, or the Asamprajnata state. Mandukya Upanishad deals with the 4 stages, and the third or the fourth session given to all the initial sadhakas. If they remember, first was the purpose of birth, starting with Athato Brahma Jignasa. Then second was the creation session. Third was the karma session. Fourth was the four states of consciousness session. Entirely based on Mandukya Upanishad. So, the Upanishad deals with waking, dreams, deep sleep, and Turiya. So, for normal understanding, we call them as four states of consciousness, or we call the Turiya as the fourth state of consciousness. But he is almost sure that even the earlier first batch of sadhakas may not remember. But while dealing with these four states of consciousness session way back in 2011, he quoted Ramana on the fourth state and explained the fourth state is eternal and the other three states come and go in. In Turiya state, there is awareness that the mind has merged in its source, the heart. And it is in fact, Ramana said very clearly, Turiya is not the fourth state. Turiya is the only state. He exactly explained this in that session and said, Turiya is the state, not the fourth state. It is the state which is the witness to the other three states of consciousness. There is difference between the waking, dream, deep sleep states, but Turiya is the eternal witness consciousness witnessing all the other three states. And in its own, in the depth of silence, it is beyond the three states of consciousness, and it is the only state to differentiate it from the cosmic consciousness stage. It is called as the pure consciousness or the super consciousness state. Let us know a little more of this on this. This is the super conscious state is Parabrahman, where there are neither names and forms, neither darkness nor light, neither east or west, nor visible objects. It is pure absolute consciousness. The goal of life is the attainment of the super consciousness state. It is called Nirvikalpa Samadhi or Asampragnata Samadhi. We have to transcend the body and the mind and enter into super consciousness state through the meditation. After equipping oneself with the four means, sadhana chatushtaya, one should practice Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, hearing, reflection and Nididhyasana. Then one will get Atma Sakshatkara. Okay. So, to understand in a very simple manner, cosmic consciousness stage is the Savikalpa Samadhi state where one is in perfect Samadhi in meditation for some time during the day. And when he gets up from that Samadhi meditation state, he comes down to his mind, his senses, and he is immersed in the waking dream deep sleep states of consciousness. His mind plays, his senses play. So some experiences, glimpse of that awareness state should never be taken as realized state. As long as the mind and senses play, it is at best cosmic consciousness or the Savikalpa Samadhi state. You would ask a question, Guruji, even in the Nirvikalpa Samadhi state also, as long as one is living in this life, in this samsara, does his mind not work? Yes, his mind works, but he is not even bothered or much aware about his mind working. The mind is working and he keeps himself apart from that mind and senses. And of course the mind is without any hope, without any fear, without any expectation, without any raga. Sorry, some message came and the call got interrupted. So where did we leave? We spoke about the person in the Savikalpa Samadhi state, where his mind and senses start working once he gets up from the meditation. As opposed to it, the Nirvikalpa Samadhi state is the highest state of meditative absorption, where the mind transcends all duality. There is no subject-object duality. Thoughts cease and one merges with pure consciousness in a state of timeless, effortless bliss and liberation. Unlike temporary Savikalpa Samadhi, where egoic awareness remains, even if peaceful. The Nirvikalpa Samadhi or the Turiya state is a state of no mind or objectless awareness state, where the individual self dissolves, revealing reality as non-dual, a permanent shift into Sahaja Samadhi, natural liberation for the realized being. A state of ultimate freedom, silence and deep bliss, even experienced in whatever state he is in. A person remains aware but without an object, their mind illuminated by its own radiance. And now to the question. So the question was two parts of the question. One is whether one returns from the Turiya state to the waking state of consciousness, and if at all one returns, whether it is due with his individual will or universal will. Now, having understood about the Turiya or the Nirvikalpa Samadhi or the Asamprajnata Samadhi or the super consciousness state, you should be clear. You should have already got the answer by now that having reached that ultimate state, it is not possible to come down at all. His body, his BMI may be going through the waking, dream, sleep, deep sleep state of consciousness, but he doesn't associate himself, the self that he has become now, that self does not associate itself from these three states of consciousness at all. His mind does work for discharging his role or responsibilities, like he often quotes as a zoom camera, without the involvement of ahankara and chitta. And it discharges its role, and in this sahaja state it returns and merges, dissolves into that nirvikalpa state. So the question itself is contradictory in itself. If one is one stage below that savikalpa samadhi state, yes, it returns, and it returns with individual will to the other states of consciousness. But once a person, it is one-way route. It is irreversible route. One cannot come down from the Turiya. If one comes down, then he has not attained that Turiya state. From the Turiya state, answering to the first part of the question, one never comes down at all to the other states of consciousness. Like he gave a hint in that long message poured in the Satya Sai Tattva group, main group. Echoing the same Yatkataksha verse from the Viveka Chudamani, all these three states of consciousness, they come and go. He doesn't come down to those states. Those states come, take a swim, take a bath, and they go. They leave the Jivan Mukta or the Videha Mukta, who is ever in that Turiya state. Are we absolutely clear about it? No? Okay? All these are not in the book. Some of the lines he has read from the spiritual experiences book of Swami Shivananda. But the answer is coming from within. From the source. He read some portion because he had to explain the difference between the Savikalpa, Nirvikalpa state. So he had to read some text portion. Now reading is over. Now the source speaks, the source reveals. Okay? And now the second part also, you must be smiling within yourself. Those who have understood the first answer to the first question, there is no question of individual will in the Turiya state. His existence is due to the universal will. He exists for the universe, not for himself. So there is no more individual will or wish existing in a Jivan Mukta in the Turiya state at all. Now he had noted down, scribbled down a few lines in the book he is reading. It is from the source, but he had written this. So precisely one who reaches the Turiya state can never come back to waking, dream, deep sleep state of consciousness. As Ramana said, there is only one state, Turiya. All other three states come and go. Turiya is the eternal witness consciousness to all three. Like Swami said, when I am in Puttaparthi, I am a strict administrator, chancellor of the university. When I am in Vrindavan, I am like Krishna, ever playful. When I am Uti, I am a child. And when I am alone, I am God. So similarly, in the Turiya state, in the Jivan Mukta, the Turiya state is the witness of the three states of consciousness. But in the Kaivalya Sthiti, aloneness, like Swami said, when I am alone, I am God. In the Kaivalya Sthiti, Transcending all the three states of consciousness, Turiya state is not even a witness. It has got nothing to witness. It is Kaivalya. It is nothing other than that Saddarshanam session. Okay? It is just is. Nothing to witness. It is just that. This should clarify many things for even sadhakas being in the sessions for 14 years. Blessings and immense love.